Hey, and welcome to another episode of You Love Comics. This is episode 68 of a YouTube show where I showcase my recent comic book hauls, comic speculation, stuff from my collection, and I might do some quick mini reviews from my weekly pull list. So I got some really awesome books here. Some, I don't even know what's going on with the prices these days. I don't know if, is the comic market dead, or did I just luck out and found these books for an insane price? So I got some really good ones I'm going to show you in the beginning, some really good finds. And then the last chunk of this haul is going to be this stuff that I got from my local LCS, or whatever people call it, local comic store, where I get my weekly pull list from. I don't know. I don't know what's going on. Maybe that intern drew the price on it. Who knows? But we'll talk about that. So stick around before we get into the haul. If you like all the things I mentioned, like comic calls, comic speculations, stuff from my collection, or stuff like that, smash that like button. If you have any questions of what you see in the video, leave a comment, ask a question, just say hi, whatever. Helps with the YouTube algorithm too. So all that helps so more people can see this. Also, if you like what you see and you've seen these videos but you haven't subscribed yet, why not become part of the You Love Comics conversation? Smash that subscribe button. All right, cool. Let's do this. All right, so just going to start real quick with some of the books, some of the newer books. Clobbering Time, #1, by Steve Scroce. I don't think I ever say his name right. But I always like this guy's art. He's done a lot of image books recently. Did he do Pax Americana or something recently? We Stand was another one. He did Gambit in the late 90s, the Gambit series. That was really good. But the thing he was most famous for is he did all the storyboards for the Matrix movies, the original ones at least. So I guess he's doing a Thing mini-series. I thought it was a Hulk, specifically a Hulk Thing team up, but it's almost like this is a Marvel 2-in-1 type thing where Thing will team up with different heroes from the Marvel Universe, or maybe some villains too, I'm not sure. And it's all done by Steve Scrose. It was cool. I don't know if I'm going to pick up the other ones. I kind of wanted it just for the Hulk Thing battle. And honestly, they don't fight, so it's just a team up, which there's nothing wrong with that too. They could be buddies. They could fight other things. They don't always have to fight. So that's cool. Darth Vader 32. This was alright. I feel like the story's kind of meandering. It's just padded. I mean, it's the same thing. It's Padme's handmaidens. There's this Sabine. Sabine, no, she's from Rebels. I don't know their names. They come up with new Star Wars name. Glippo, Blip. Or her name's Yip Yip. Yeah. It's okay. Cool cover though. Jabba's Palace #1. I did not read this. This is the connected variant. From what I know, it's about I don't know if you guys remember Return of the Jedi. Remember that movie? Well, that's what this is from. There's a robot that gets torn apart in the beginning. R2 and C-3PO visit, and they get taken in. And they become the new, they're told they are being given as gifts to Jabba. And they're in, the droid room getting prepared to be part of Jabba's palace. And you see what happens to the previous droid. Well, I guess this is the story that leads up to it. So I guess I'm going to have to read it so I can find out what happened to that yelling droid from Return of the Jedi. So, cool. All right, on to the haul. Daredevil, The Man Without Fear, #257. This is I got this one for $3 or $2.99. It's an awesome Punisher team up with Daredevil. It's a great John Romita Jr. book. Interiors as well. I don't like Frank Castle's neat part hair there. It's so it's like he combed it before he fought Daredevil. This is in really nice condition. To get this for this price, all the early 80s and later 80s Daredevil books with Punisher are starting to heat up, especially with talks of Frank Barenthal, I think that's his name, coming back as the Punisher, and he should be starring in the Daredevil series that's going to come out in, I think, next year. So pretty cool. Happy to get that. Happy to get this one for just $2.99 as well. Champions #17. This is the last issue of this series that ran in the 70s. There's some key significance to this, besides being the last issue. I guess it's the return of the Sentinels, before, like, since the original X-Men. So I could be wrong, but I don't think the Sentinels are in any of the new X-Men books until like Days of Future Past, and this predates that. It's funny, like the store I get it from, their prices are so weird. They base it on like, I guess, like eBay last sold. So sometimes like the prices could be really high, and sometimes they're like ridiculously low. And it's funny, I've seen this. They had another copy of this book in their back issue bin, and it was like $17 or whatever. And I was like, nah, I'm not gonna pay that much for this. No way. And this one's like relatively like decent condition. That one might be a little better, but this one was only $3. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get that one. I always wanted to get it, so happy to get that. And then this one I got. This one was a little more than I wanted to spend. This one was $19.99. This is Star Wars Canon number 12. It's the last of this issue series, 12-part series. It's kind of cool. If you look at the first issue, it kind of shows like an older Kanan and a younger Kanan here. And it's got an awesome Mark Spurlock art. I kind of got suckered into the whole what they call like FOMO thing. It's like this character just showed up in Rebels. I was looking it up when I was there though. This was a decent price. I've seen it go on eBay for like $25 on average. This whole series is gonna pick up. It's like 1 in 6 can go for like way more than like, depending on the condition where you're getting them. If you're getting them graded, it could go for like $50 to $100, even more easily. Especially with the Ahsoka show coming out, so you're gonna see a lot of hype on this. Happy to get it. So, am I gonna get 1 in 6? Depends. I'm not gonna spend that much on it. Like, so I don't know. Happy to have this though. It has all the Rebels characters on it. Got this one for $5. This one's Astonishing X-Men number 6. This is the first appearance of Sword. I figured why not? It's in nice condition. They're gonna come back. We'll see. Happy to get this. Great. Oh man, what was his name? Tom Cassidy, I think. Yeah, his artwork has always been great. I'm like, where's he been? I haven't seen any current stuff from him. WCW number 1. Been wanting to get this one for a while. This is like in perfect condition. I think that's just the bag, right? Yeah, that's just the bag. Yes, not the comic. I didn't even know they had this series. I only discovered this like a couple of months ago. It's like 11 issues, and I'm assuming 11 is going to be really tough to get. So happy to have that. It's kind of funny. It's like, it looks like there's like a glare from the light here, but that's actually just the photo. All right. Went to a Second and Charles, and they had, I always ask people that work at this one, I'm like, what do you have? Do you have any stuff that you haven't put out yet? And they're cool, and they'll show me. They have boxes they haven't put out, so I get to get first picks. Kind of cool. And most of the time, it's nothing special, but every once in a while, there's some cool stuff. They must have gotten like almost a whole entire Gru run. I'm not like the hugest Gru fan. I love Sergio Arones. I don't even know if I'm saying his name properly. Sergio Arones. That's probably how you say his name. And he's famous for doing Mad Magazine. I remember he did like a game show where they used his animation on the side. I don't think it was No Whammy, but he had the Gru series, which was kind of like a parody of like Conan and all that, and it ran for like, I don't know, forever, like early 80s up until like the early 90s, so a good 10-year run. Pops up here and there. There's been talks of a Gru movie. We'll see if any of that ever transpires. There's always like those talks and it gets excited. But these were all like $1.95 each. I thought they were pretty good. They're all in like decent condition. I figured I'd grab all the ones with this character in it. So Gru 50, Gru 51, great cover. Gru 52, it kind of has like all her appearances. There's him in the corner box admiring her, and then here's look, it's so funny. These corner boxes are great. I guess that's the artist over here, but then like there's his dog, whatever, and I guess he's angry because he's paying attention to her. And then he's kind of creeping on her, and then here's the dog thinking about Gru, who's thinking about Shakal, I think is her name. I don't know if I'm saying it right. She's kind of like the Red Sonja of the Gru world, I guess. And then Sergio grew 89 a later. The back, her fronts here too. Haha. uh, so that's pretty cool. That's a later issue. The series ran to 120. This was unfortunately the last one they had. This one was $1.95. I figured, I was like, I'm gonna grab this. Grew 110. I was looking up when I was there, and like these can go anywhere from like 15 to 20 easily. Like those last issues are super hard to get, and this is in like near mint condition too. So if I ever bump into those other issues and they're just like $2, I'll definitely pick them up. I wanted to get her first appearance, but they didn't have it. They did have some. They did have the original. There's like Pacific Comics. I think it ran like 8 issues before it went to Marvel Epic. So, but they didn't have her first appearance. All right, and at this store they also had this. I was happy to grab this. It was only like $2.99. It's in decent condition. I call this like a great. What do they call that? Pressable defects. I think there's like a guy on YouTube who goes by that name. I don't think that's his actual Christian name, though. I think that's just his name that he goes by. But pressable defects basically meaning like they're all like, there's like, damaging in the book that could easily be fixed by a press. That would almost like, there's no color, like it's not color breaking damage, nothing serious, no real staining. Like a good press would like smooth out these books, and this one's like a perfect candidate for that if I were to ever get my books pressed. This one was a newsstand. It's the 25th anniversary border. These books are been very desirable and collectible to get. Some of them get to be pretty hard to get. I would imagine this one was probably not too bad. I would imagine the print run on G.I. Joe was pretty decent around this time period with the awesome Snake Eyes cover. There's like crazy ones like Care Bears. That one supposedly goes for insane. The Peter Porker one, Ewok one, like I don't know, if I ever see them and they're like a decent price, I'll definitely grab those. They had this one, Harley Quinn #1. This is the Mile High variant from DC Rebirth. This is a Scott Williams cover. It's always interesting to see Scott Williams without drawing over Jim Lee, so it's kind of cool. And I saw this one. I had a hard time trying to find it. I don't know if it's like considered like a rare variant, but happy to get it. It was only $3.99. This one was $2.99. The only reason why I got it, it's Green Lantern, New Guardians, New 52. It is a newsstand from November 2011. That's when people talk about newsstands. They go crazy for them, and it's like they'll be like, "Oh my God, I got a newsstand from 1981," and it's like, who cares? Like, that was like the majority of newsstands. Now, I can understand newsstands, a more mint condition newsstand will be considered more valuable than direct market just because like newsstands were like beaten up. Like people would like bend them over to ruffle through the book. So if you have like a 9.8 newsstand from that era, yeah, it's gonna bring it, like you can command more if you're trying to sell it or whatever. But this later era, anything past like 2005 really, or even like 2000, like the newsstand numbers go from like 50% to 20% to like 10, like around this time it's like barely 10%. So I was like, I'm not gonna refuse that. And then this one, which is from like 2014, it says right here, same series, issue 27. Like I wasn't gonna get it, but I was like, you know what, it's stupid not to get it. It's a newsstand. I could not find this book online. I was trying so hard to be like, is there anything? Like, I look it up. I'm like, Green Lantern, New Guardians, 27. What's it worth? And I put newsstand, and only the direct market ones come in. Of course, that one's worth like $2, if any. But the newsstand, I have no idea. Who knows? Then this one I was happy to get. This is a great newsstand copy. This one's from 2013. Joker #1, or Batman 23.1. They did all these like villain covers. The direct market had 2 versions. There was like a hologram, but I guess the newsstand was only this version. I don't know, maybe they had the hologram for the newsstand. Happy to get this. This one I saw, this can go for like $20. This one's in solid condition. Happy to get that. And it's also a great Joker cover. You see this art get used on like t-shirts and other like promotional items. So it's always cool to get like the cover, the original comic that you see all that promotional art for. So, it's like that famous one of Batman 251 or whatever with the Joker. And he's like gigantic, and Batman's coming like that. That book can go for like thousands of dollars. Excuse me. All right. Before I get further into the haul, I just want to show you guys some toys that I got. I used to be a bigger toy collector back in the day, and I kind of flipped. Once in a while, I'll get a toy, depending on like the price or where I'm at or how I'm feeling, or if I know I can't find this anywhere. But this one was on clearance. This one was like $7. It's the It is the classic Loki from the Loki series. It's the Richard E. Grant. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that actor. He played Loki in this series. You can see from the packaging here on the side, and then what they're promising the figure looks like. I didn't open it up. Unfortunately, this is that new packaging that I think is stupid, where they basically got rid of the plastic window. They decided, and now you can't see the figure inside. And do I plan on opening it? Probably not. I should, but I don't know. Whatever. I wanted to get this one because I thought that episode of Loki was so good. It was like episode 5. It's the one with all the variants, and you got to meet this character, and he's like interesting. He's an older Loki. He talks about like how all the events play out the same in all these variants, where they face Thanos and Thanos like kills them, or they get defeated by Thanos. And he says that he tells the Loki, it's very convoluted. The Loki and Loki series is Loki from right after the first Avengers movie. He's not the Loki from post Ragnarok Infinity War. But this Loki talks about how he tricked Thanos and floated in space for years. So he faked his death, and he lived out his life somewhere in exile, and then he ended up getting caught by the TVA. And it's interesting because I think they kind of opened the door to like that the Loki we know of all the other movies post Avengers is still alive. And what's cool about this, what I love the most about this, is that he's wearing this like the classic like 1960s costume, and I'm wondering if it's like in his universe. It would be almost awesome to see more glimpses of this Loki's universe, where all the heroes and villains are depicted exactly the way they are in their original like Silver Age and Bronze Age depiction. So like the Thanos that he fights is the one with the classic blue and orange, like less armor, more cartoony looking. Like that would be like a fun thing. I doubt they'll ever do it, but I feel like this kind of opens the door to it. And then here's the other figure I got. I figured with everything going on with The Mandalorian, and I do like this character, and I do love The Mandalorian series. This one was like $20, so it's kind of like already, you don't really see it in the stores anymore. This was at a comic store that I got it at. I thought it was a really good price, especially with this character like kind of being pretty much being the main character of Mandalorian right now. It's the Katie Sackhoff, Bo-Katan. I think they did a pretty good job with her face. Usually like the sculpts look kind of derpy, but I would say not bad. So happy to have that one. All right. And before we get back to the haul, do me a favor, if you like what you see so far, smash that like button, leave a comment if you have any questions. You can wait till the end, of course. There's more stuff to show. If you haven't subscribed yet, smash that subscribe button. I have links in all my episodes for my Instagram, You Love Comic Books. Check that out. Give it a follow. I showcase books from the hauls and stuff from my collection and other new things that I haven't shown in hauls yet. And sometimes I sell things on there. Also, look at my eBay. There's a link in there too. You Love Comic Books, and I have obviously comics, toys, trades, video games, teas. I'm always adding new items, so check that out. Follow it as well. You can follow things on there, so you always get emails of what new things I put on there. All right, let's get into the haul. Cops. This one was $1. This was at a Second and Charles out of town. Cops #6. It was a newsstand. It's a decent condition copy. I love this cover. I don't know if you guys remember. It was like a weird toy line from the 80s. They made so many different toy lines back then. They were trying anything. They were just like, the Homer Simpson what was the makeup shotgun like effect on everything. They were just like whatever hits. This, I think, I don't know how long it lasted, but this series like lasted like 16 issues or whatever. I did find the last issue of that. I love the cover of this. I love this character, Big Boss or whatever. Happy to have it. This one was two. It's in decent condition. It's like a almost via. I'd say like a fine plus. Lannis Chronicles #4. It is the first appearance of a character in here that's supposed to be in the new Aquaman movie. I was almost gonna pass on it, but I was there. I was out of town. I was like, I never see this in stores. It was only $2. I'm like, why not? See if it goes anywhere. Happy to get this one for $2.99. It's only got one little like color breaking spine tick, but overall it's still really nice. Convergence #2. This is the first appearance of John Kent, who is a Superman also now. They like aged him up, and they've been like pushing his character. We'll see what they do with him. We'll see if he's ever like if they do anything with the movies with him. But this book has been kind of on average. It could be like a $20 book. So I figure, hey, $2.99 in this condition, it's still like a $15-$20 book easily. So happy to have that. All right, this was at a comic store out of town as well. Found this one for $2.99. Spectre #22. This is the key significance of this book. It is the first Alex Ross superhero art. I think he did like the Terminator comic for like now. And I don't think he did Marvels yet at this point. This is his first cover for DC. I think it predates the Marvel work as well. So happy to get this. I can never find this. Spectre issues can be kind of tough to find. I was going through it. He pretty much almost had the entire run. And I was getting like super excited because 54 is the other big key from that series. That's the first Mr. Terrific, and that book goes for a lot. Like this one can easily go for like $12-$15. So to get for $2.99 in that condition, in a near mint condition, I was happy to get that. I was like, I made sure to go through it like a bunch of times, see if I missed it, but they did not have 54. They did have like almost the full run though. Like I said, I never see this, at least in the comic stores in my area. I never do. So, and I thought this was a pretty good find. It's like a VG copy. It's Captain America 168. The key significance of this book is that it's the Phoenix, but really who this guy is, it's the first appearance of Zemo, or the guy who becomes Zemo. And the whole Zemo thing's a little convoluted. There's like a World War II era Zemo, and then like the Masters of Evil Zemo from the Silver Age, and I think that's like his dad. And then like the Zemo we know from like Thunderbolts and like even like Falcon Winter Soldier and Civil War movie and current comic books and everything like that. That's this Zemo. So this is his first appearance. So for $8, I thought this was actually a really good price. I've seen this book in around this condition easily go for $50 to way more. Like I didn't even know about this book. I remember going to a store like a year or two ago and they had this on the wall and it was like $150, and I was like, what? Like, why is this so expensive? Just some random 20-cent Captain America book. And then I looked it up, and that's what it goes for. So happy to grab that. I'm happy. I think it's a good enough, like, where, like, I don't know if I care to get another one. Like, if I saw another one and it was better condition and was around this price, yeah, I'd pick it up. But I think it still presents well enough that I'm happy to have this for the collection. A good pressing would probably fix this a lot. There's some like a little bit of water damage there, but overall, really nice. Okay, so here's the stuff from this store that I was telling you guys about in the beginning. So if you stuck around, thank you. Hit that like button, of course, if you're still here. My local LCS, I showed you some books in I did a mystery box in the last episode. Check that out if you haven't seen it. But the episode before that in the haul, I had a couple books also from this store. They must have gotten a collection recently, and I don't really understand their pricing, and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about in a minute. Some of these prices were insane. Like if you saw the ones I got last week, or the week before, whatever. I had like the Spectacular Spider-Man with the first black suit Spider-Man in there, and like a couple other key books. First John Walker, Captain America, and these were all like, they were just like $5 or $4. I get like a little discount there, so I was like blown away by it. So I'm like, I'm going to check these bins and make sure just see what else I missed and, get all the good ones. So this one is probably the worst condition, but like I said, it was only $4. Happy to get it. Avengers 162. This is the first appearance of Jocasta. She is, am I saying her name right? She is a cyborg or droid or whatever. I don't know what you would call her. She's kind of like a female Ultron. She becomes an Avenger. She's modeled off of Janet Van Dyne, the Wasp. And, there've been talks of years of this character coming into Marvel. We'll see what they ever do anything with her. I'd be curious how they would portray her. Happy to get it. Like I said, it's not the greatest condition, but still, $4, not bad. This one was like $4 also, $184. This is Miss Marvel joins the team. It's great. Falcon joins the team in this one. It's great John Byrne art right here as well. This is the one where Miss Marvel joins the team. And again, these books on average go for like $10. I see them in stores, and especially in this condition. I always think this is kind of funny. She's like the generic John Byrne, like, let me see, scientist lady. Like, you've seen her in like Alpha Flight, X-Men, Superman, Fantastic Four. He's a great artist. I just find that funny when I saw that. Like, right there, her, it's like, okay, that's John Byrne. This one was a great find for just $4. Iron Man 225. This is the first part of the Armor War story, the first Armor War story in Iron Man. They announced a series a couple years ago for Disney Plus, and they just, I think it was probably like last year at some point, Kevin Feige came out, talked about it, and they upgraded this from a series to a movie. I think there's talks of Robert Downey Jr. coming back, or maybe like an AI, which is probably another reason it's going to be a movie. It's probably going to be technically like Iron Man 4, but it's called Armor War. So this book is always kind of picked up. And like I said, this on average is easily a $20, $25 book at stores anytime I see it, depending on the condition. This one's in really nice condition. It's got on the back is got a couple little creases, but yeah, let me just show you guys real quick. But man, for $4 to get this book at this price, I was blown away. So I mean, it's not bad. It's got a little bit of spine ticks on the not even that bad, almost pressable defects, but the front looks great. So happy to have this. Don't sleep on this key. If you can find it for super cheap, grab it. Or, you can buy it for full price, too, if you want. It's up to you guys. The Punisher, number 10. Again, showing you that one earlier in the episode. This is an iconic Punisher issue from his first series, or I guess volume 2, if you count the miniseries. And it has this Daredevil cover. It's a Willis Portacio. Just, again, for $4, this is on average easily a $10, $15 book. It's been picking up again with the whole Daredevil Punisher thing. So happy to get this. Here's another one I'm happy to get. It's a book I've been wanting to add, and every time I see it, I always feel like it's too expensive, more than I want to spend. It's Captain America 341. It's just, I know there's a first appearance in here. I don't know if it's the first appearance of this guy, but it's got this awesome Iron Man Captain America cover, or U.S. Agent. This is where or I guess he's the Cap here. It's modeled off an old Daredevil comic, I think done by Kirby, where Captain America's here and Daredevil's here. It's in a boxing ring, I'm pretty sure. That's an iconic cover. But this is a sick cover too, and it's drawn by Ron Frenz and Al Milgrom. So happy to get that one again for $4. Here's a good one. This one's really good for $4. Captain America 354. First, John Walker's back and this is his first as the U.S. agent. So, and it's an iconic cover. Really nice condition for all black cover. Barely no spine ticks. Happy to grab that one. All right, almost done, guys. Thank you for sticking around. Amazing Spider-Man 253. Again, this one was only $4. This is the first appearance. Well, on average, this book is still a $15 book, but I'm surprised it doesn't go for way more, because one, it's the second Black Suit Spider-Man, Amazing Spider-Man. That first one can go for hundreds of bucks depending on the condition. It's a newsstand, which is good. This is like a fine plus copy. It's the first appearance of the Rose. I know there was rumors that the character was going to show up in something. That is Wilson Fisk's son. He becomes a villain called the Rose, and this is his first appearance. So happy to get this. Here's another really good one. That was only like $4. Amazing Spider-Man. I'm like, hope I'm not. I'm like fading. Amazing Spider-Man 257. This is the first Ned Leeds. Now, this character, Ned Leeds, is the best friend of Spider-Man in the Spider-Man Homecoming and all those movies, No Way Home. There's been rumor, like, they've been kind of dropping hints, especially in the last one. Is No Way Home the last one? Or Far From Home is the last one? They're kind of dropping hints where he gets some, like, it's revealed that Ned Leeds has some, like, mystical powers, and he wears, like, the colors of the Hobgoblin throughout it. And Ned Leeds becomes a Hobgoblin. So this book kind of picked up a bit, especially around when Far From Home came out, and I feel like it's just a good spec to have. And for $4, this book can command easily $20. Happy to get this, and in that condition. All right, here are the last three, and I think these were really good. These were $8 each. Amazing Spider-Man 317. This book's in really, really nice condition. The only thing is like maybe like a tiny scuff, like right there. It's like, but overall, this is like a perfect condition copy. It's just, I mean, one, it's the last McFarlane Venom comic. It's funny, you know, everyone wants the newsstand copies, but I always said about the Amazing Spider-Man, especially around this time, his run, all the bottom squares where the newsstand barcode would go have awesome little Spider-Man drawings in them. They start like around 302, I think. He does numbers, but then he starts putting characters in there. And, you know, you got, so without the newsstand, you just got like Symbiote. You don't got Venom's head right here. But $8 for this is great. 316 is obviously like, that one is a crazy comic. It's an iconic cover. But I feel like this one's like the forgotten one. Like 315 has a little Venom in the corner. It's the Hydro Man cover. And that's a cool book to have. But I feel like this one just does not get the love. And this is a sick cover. I mean, look at this. Imagine like you were buying comics at the time. This is, it came out in like 1989. And like, this is what I mean. Like, McFarlane was so good back then. Like, what he was doing it's like some of his covers were like, they were either like, they're okay, or they hit you in the face. And there were so many of these awesome covers from that run. There's that amazing Lizard cover where he just brings something. I don't know what it is, but I love this comic. This is my second copy of this. I couldn't pass this up. I mean, for like $8 for a Venom McFarlane book for that cheap and in like a near mint condition, happy to get that. Again, let's see, Incredible Hulk 324. This is the first, the return of the Grayskin Hulk, which leads to Mr. Fix-It. Like, that doesn't happen until like 346, I think. I had a copy of this. Or I still do, but mine's like pretty crappy. So I always wanted to upgrade it. Again, this one was only $8. That's a really good price for this. On average, this book can be like $25. So I feel like that's a score. This is in like really solid condition. I think it's like over a VF. So happy to have that. And then this one's a great one too. Incredible Hulk 330. This is the first McFarlane on the Hulk series. And I guess first Marvel? I don't know. I guess he did some G.I. Joe. Did a Daredevil comic and some other stuff. But this is the beginning of the Hulk run. And from here it goes to Spider-Man, and the whole comic industry changes. And I had this, but mine's like pretty crappy. So happy to upgrade it. Only for $8 too. So like I said, I was like blown away by like the prices of some of these books. Because like, let me tell you, I don't know who did the pricing, because like every issue, so almost every issue in there was like $5, regardless if it was a key or not. So like just some rando Spider-Man comic, like 268 or no, not 2, whatever. I think that's actually a key in that number. But let's say 272. I don't know. Just throw a number out there. That was $4.99 also. Like, and this one was $4.99, and this one was $4.99. And I was just like, they clearly just were like pricing them. They're like, just throw them in there. Let's just sell them. I don't know. But They could have easily jacked up some of these to like 10, 15 bucks, and they still would have probably sold at those prices. But hey, I'm not complaining because I paid for them. So that's why I was like, are they... So my question to you guys is, before I leave, are the value of especially like Copper Age books like going down? Were they too high, or did I just luck out? Let me know in the comments. Like, did I just get score on some of these books, or am I kind of just paying what they're worth? And I know some of them are what they're worth, but I mean, like for this book, for example, or even that book, or this book, for example, especially this book, for example, So, all right, cool. So, thank you for sticking around. That's my haul here. Like I said, if you like what you saw, smash that like button, leave a comment if you have any questions, hit that subscription button, check out the links to my eBay and Instagram in there. You love comic books, you're going to see the previous video here, and you're going to smash that subscription button. I'll talk to you guys later. Have a good one. Bye-bye.